Hello, friends. Welcome to today's episode. I'm recording content for the first week of April 2023. So, today we will talk about some of the issues around ChatGPT, specifically the ChatGPT data exposure incident. We'll talk about the 3CX supply chain attack. We'll talk about some of the malware specific to Android, as well as malware targeting API keys and secrets hosted in the cloud services platform. We'll talk about some hackers for hire and some ransomware incidents. Okay, so starting with the ChatGPT user data exposure incident, uh, ChatGPT recently announced that there was a breach, and the Redis open source library was responsible for this exposure. And in this exposure, chat titles and some of the users' personal information was uh, leaked. Now, this came as a surprise for me because I would expect that this infrastructure would be highly secure, and special caution will be given to this considering the amount of data it is reading. But turns out that wasn't the case. In fact, what happened is that the company had to temporarily shut down the chatbot to understand the implication. I'm sure they're still investigating. They've just told about the software glitch as of now, but we'll see what other things come out from the chat GPT group or the company behind it. Uh, what is also happening is, with the advent of chat GPT, it is becoming very hard to spot phishing emails. Now, one of the methods to spot phishing emails is to understand the language in terms of grammatical mistakes, spelling errors, because in a lot of cases this content in phishing emails is not written by native English speakers. Now, with ChatGPT coming over, language translation becoming very easy. In fact, there are AI based tools that can write or translate in different languages with almost perfection. So it has become very hard to find phishing emails. In fact, Europol recently came up with a report, and it highlighted three areas that they're concerned about. One is ChatGPT being used in fraud and social engineering. Because of the use of the language learning models, it can reproduce language patterns to impersonate a particular style of a specific person or a group, right? So, which means it's very easy for a cyber criminal to write emails to impersonate a particular person or a leader. Also, ChatGPT can be used to create authentic sounding text if you mix it with deepfake. We spoke about this in the last episode, I think 2 episodes back, and it can be used to spread propaganda and disinformation. Also, it can be used to spread cybercrime because it has become very easy to write code. Even with a very little knowledge, people can produce malicious code. Okay, the safety filters are not as good as I showed you in my first video on ChatGPT. Okay. Now, I highly recommend reading this report from Europol. It's called ChatGPT: The Impact of Large Language Models on Law Enforcement. You can go to Europol website to download this report. Now, with ChatGPT getting popular, there are malicious extensions available now. I think the second one was found. It's a Trojanized version of a legitimate browser add-on. Before it was taken from the Chrome Web Store, there were already 9,000 installations since March 14. Now, this was spread. This specific extension was spread by sponsored Google search results, which means attacker paid for results to appear in the sponsored section, which let users to download, and eventually this extension steals Facebook related cookies and puts it on a remote server in an encrypted manner. So this is common. As things become popular, you will see fraud and scams around it. The reason Windows is most targeted because it is most used by people. So beware. There is a new supply chain attack on 3CX. Now, what is 3CX? It's a desktop client by a company called 3CX. It allows users or employees of that company to communicate, or anyone who's using that application to communicate within and outside the organization using the desktop or laptop systems. So it can record calls, it can facilitate video conferences, and it works on Windows, Mac, and Linux. Now, the company claims that it has very well established clients like NHS in the UK, as well as enterprises like Coca-Cola, IKEA, Honda. If you go to their website, you will find tons of clients. So what happened is that on 30th March, the TCX desktop installer app hosted on the developer website had 2 malicious libraries included, which means somebody, some cyber criminal went there, replaced the genuine files with malicious files, and these files allow the cyber criminals to download additional malware on the victim machine. So if you go to 3xCX website to download the desktop app, it on that particular day it was also downloading 2 bad files, malicious files, which gave control to the cyber criminals, and cyber criminals can then further download more files. Okay, now this is using a specific technique called DLL sideloading. This and it's a supply chain attack. Okay, what that means is to target, let's say NHS in this example, and NHS is published as a logo on 3C desktop. The cyber criminals can targeted 3CX, and now if somebody at NHS would have downloaded this file, and I'm sure the cyber criminals will have access to the NHS infrastructure. I'm just giving an example, okay, how this would work. Now, how this can be prevented is using NGAV, next generation antivirus, which has the capability to detect and prevent DLL side loading technique. Okay. The cyber criminals behind it are supposed to be Lazarus Group, as per some of the reading that I've done, and it's a financially motivated organization. It is North Korea, and if you remember, in some of my episodes earlier this year, I covered about them because they were allegedly behind the Horizon Bridge crypto hack, where they gathered $100 million. Okay, now, in terms of what 3CX is saying, they've come up with the blog. If you go to their website, you'll find this blog, which is continuously getting updated. It started with the domains getting down. They gave a new app they called PWA, and they essentially mentioned about this, and they apologized to that customer, all the customers. Going towards the ransomware, there's a new ransomware called Silence. Ransomware has nothing to do with a cybersecurity company owned by BlackBerry called Silence Software. This ransomware is called Silence because it renames all the files on the system that it controls with a .silence extension. Okay. The ransomware is targeting Linux and Windows based devices. There's not enough information available who's behind it, and the exact ransom amount is not mentioned, but the ransom note asks the victim to email the attackers. Okay, and it is believed that the amount will be only told once there is a communication established with the between the victim and the cyber criminal. Okay, another ransomware called Dark Power was also seen in Feb, and it's called Dark Power because it renames all the files to .dark_power extension, and it has a ransom note in the file called readme.pdf, and it threatens the victims that unless they send 10,000 USD worth of Monero cryptocurrency to attackers' wallet within 72 hours, the files will be lost forever. They also claim that they will publish this encrypted data to leak site on Tor if ransom is not paid. There are 10 companies that were notified at the time of writing this news article, and it included 9 countries in various regions. Okay. Also, ransomware impacted a local BMW dealership in France, and although the ransomware group called Play claimed that they attacked BMW France. BMW came up with a press release stating that it was a particular dealership in France that was impacted. Okay, and that they are investigating. There is no major intrusion, and we are waiting for more details. Okay. Also, on general web-specific attacks, there is a very popular website builder called Elementor Pro, which is popular on the WordPress website making software and hosting software, and it is a premium plugin. It has been used to create at least 12 million sites as per some of the reports. A specific version which is getting targeted, it allows any attacker to take full control of the website, and it can do anything on that website. So it's recommended to update to the latest version because the patch is already available. So if you are using Elementor Pro, please go ahead and update it. Okay. Also, there is a new report on hackers for hire for cyber espionage, and this report says that these hackers can target human rights and political activists, journalists, or any other high-risk user around the globe. Now, I have found India-based groups, I have found Russia-based group for this, and some of the groups that were mentioned, their websites are no longer operative. Okay. Now, these groups advertise that they aren't usually helping client to get cryptocurrency payout, and they are targeting specific users with a specific goal in mind, and essentially it's all about espionage. Okay. Now, they typically don't target for getting a quick cash out. Okay. They are trying to attempt computers, systems, and networks, and they can remain hidden in the infrastructure for a long time. And this essentially is used by any company. There is an example given in that report, which is that legal or companies can hire them to investigate some of their opponents for disputes that they are fighting, and these disputes could involve financial assets, VIPs. They could have intent to blackmail VIPs and tracking financial assets, getting competitive business intelligence for companies. They can also be used for intelligence on medium large companies for acquisitions also. So there is a specific company called Repsec that was mentioned. I tried going to their website, it's down. Tried doing some research. They are an Amritsar based company, and beyond that I did not go further. Okay. It's clearly that they are not publicly visible. Also, another group that was highlighted in that report is called Rocket Hack, which steals highly sensitive information for individuals and also from businesses on demand. And there were certain examples given on type of information that they can steal. So things like information on Russian passport, foreign passport, marriage certificates, migrant permits, Interpol records, criminal records, bank statement, credit history, weapon registration, traffic police data, traffic crime, camera shots, etc. Long list of things that these groups can provide for their clients. Okay. Moving on to the mobile side, a new Android banking Trojan called Nexus has been found. It is supposedly targeting 450 financial apps, and it performs account takeover attacks against banking portals and crypto services. It is stealing credential as well as SMS, so it can read whatever OTPs you are getting. It is also available at a monthly fees of around $3,000. It's called malware as a service. It is it has been there for some time, as old as June 2022, but since January it has been active. Okay, and it also overlaps some of the functionality from another Trojan called SOVA, because what report highlighted is some of the sections in the code when the reverse engineers are similar. Okay, the key thing to learn about this is the MAS model, the malware as a service, which allows criminals to monetize their malware they can give that malware for free for a specific fees, and then monetize. It has been there. You might recall me talking about ransomware as a service model, where the cyber criminal will create the malware, it will host the infrastructure to do the payments, etc., and they take a cut on the payments that they are receiving. Okay. Also, there's a new malware called Alienfox, which is targeting the specific services available on cloud service providers, the top ones like Microsoft, Google, etc. And what it does is it looks for any hosting that involves popular web frameworks like Laravel, Drupal, Joomla, Magneto, OpenCart, PrestaShop, and WordPress. Okay. And essentially what this does is, once it finds a particular application, it runs an exploits and finds API keys and secrets that are hosted there. Now this is again a repeating pattern that I've seen when the ransomware started picking up. I recall seeing ransomware attacks targeting MongoDB hosted on cloud service providers. So essentially what cyber criminals are doing is as CSPs are getting popular to host websites, they are also going after those. So these cyber criminals will acquire skills to breach the CSPs, if not CSPs, the infrastructure hosted on the CSPs, like the applications, right? Because the responsibility of the application, in the simplest form, a website or a mobile app, is with the creator of that application or that website. Okay, and typically these people don't understand cybersecurity compared to cybersecurity practitioners. Okay, with that, I'm thankful to all the sources who contributed to this. I'm thankful to all of you who are watching this or listening to this on my podcast. Keep commenting. I do get likes, but I request you to put comments. It helps me to create new content. Again, share this with your friends and families. I highly encourage everyone to take up cybersecurity as their career. And till then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.